Thank you for your patience, y'all. I know it's hard with this online situation. So we're just playing around with possibilities for creating an opening ritual. And so I don't know if you heard the first thing we did. The first thing we did was walk around the space and try to find hot spots where we felt good energy. You can do this wherever you are. Wherever this performance takes place, you can take some time just to walk and feel the space. So the important thing about ritual, any ritual, is that it's sincere and that it's not performed, right? So you have a script, you have a performance, we'll get into that, but this ritual needs to be sincere every time you do it. And so what that means to me, and Monique, we can play around with this, but what that means to me is that every time it'll be a little bit different, right?
I totally agree.
Every time it'll be a little bit different. We have a basic blueprint and a structure, but every time it'll be a little bit different depending on where you're feeling energy.
Right.
Eyes wide open with no focus, moving forward, feeling hopeless. Time is changing in the distance, masking odors, burning incense, feeling pleasure, seeing drama, making income on the corner. Streets are filled with sleeping bags. Can't let go of our past. No forgiveness. Cancel culture. Just got ghosted. Grew up with her. Instagramming. No diploma. Chicken sandwich with a soda. Rodents running through the night. Toilet paper causing fights. Politicking black and white. Still I'm gonna catch this flight. Still I'm gonna catch this flight. Still I'm gonna catch this flight. Coastin', coastin', breezing, floating, no more pain. Love's overflowing, overflowing.
God can free us. Freedom is everything, because to be free is to be.
Inside me, there's a scream.
Tears getting heavier and heavier. God must be a black woman because the world is fucked up and they're looking at God to fix it. I'm the one that's holding me back. My fear of who I am holds me back.
To continue to piss a lot of people off. It didn't come gift wrapped. It didn't come with my name on it. You watched it marinate. Everywhere I go, louder, it's mad. It's everywhere I go. Never thought I'd see the day. My life was designed as a joint effort, and I rejected the offer. I have not because I ask not. I'll never have because pride makes no room for questions.
I always wondered what an angel really looked like. I blinked in disbelief.
I got myself fucked up.
Potential pauses me like an ant. Kill it or spare it? in a single second of life. I know why the caged bird sings. And if I were in its position, this poem would be my song. You wonder, if you were made in God's image, why would she drag you through the mud like that?
Tough love? God must be a black woman because the world is fucked up and they're looking at God to fix it. All these questions for God.
Why would you do this?
Why would you
Why
do
didn't
this?
you answer my prayers? Did you
Why
get my
didn't you
message?
answer my prayers?
Did you get
Did you get my message?
Never thank you for listening, God. Are you okay, God? Can I take the load off, God?
Carve gills into my throat so I may stay underwater.
Make me inhuman.
Inhuman.
Her religion was a scam.
Tough love. Why would you do this? Why didn't you answer my prayers? Did you get my message? Make me inhuman. Like you got an alligator skin on and that nothing can ever get through it. But deep down you're melting like ice, bit by bit. People come and go. Memories fading away. It's going dark in your life as the light keeps getting dimmer and dimmer. The candles are burning low. Heard religion was a scam.
I keep waking up. I sleep no more than 12 hours, sometimes only 30 minutes, waking at the thought of my own existence. My internal alarm clock loves to tease me, strokes my tarnished ego with the back of its hand. I'm allergic to my responsibilities, but too pussy to cop out. If perhaps I could clean my ego, we could be teammates in this game of life. I would fight back, blood designing my cheekbones from war wounds. I've been fighting myself my whole life, and I've won most of the battles. Black house music, nude lipstick, woman of color edition, space buns, 4C friendly. Life to me has always been a yeah, you too in the face. Sometimes I expect a slap. Sometimes I'd prefer a punch. because I can take it and I wouldn't feel so pathetic. To be free.
It don't got nothing to do with sorry. More like holding my body and your ego with a closed fist. Or forgetting how we used to talk soft to each other. Or anger stemming from silence, 'cause I don't got nothing to say to you. I'm real sick of trying. How am I supposed to hold on?
How am I supposed to hold on to something that never made room for me and call that love?
For me and call that love.
My arms is grabbing on to a memory of me happy alone. I'm finally starting to stand on my own. And here you come. You ain't no good.
You ain't no good, my nigga. You got to go. Why is my heart so good? Now I'm here. I searched for God and
What happens when you can't see the goddess that resides in your reflection? When cracks morph into holes and you are now your greatest fear, reflected from missing pieces of shards, bouncing off the backboard and where your happiness used to be. What happens to your sanity when the goddess you were looking for, hoping for, stares at the shards at your feet instead of the horror on your face, and she won't admit to the mistakes she's made? I mean, it's obvious that she regrets cutting your fingers on flaws, but was so careful not to cut the perfection out of what should be realistic fantasies. So your expectations is to mend flaws that was built into your DNA, and now you've unzipped every last part of you down to the genetic code and trying to replicate what was never really you. She's nothing like you. She's sexually free, tied down to bedposts, but untied from expectations. She tells you what she wants. She knows how to forgive, but isn't taken for a fool. But you're nothing like her. She focuses on the parts that love, not on the parts that sabotage. And you stand there, horror on your face, as you realize
I searched for God, and I discovered her, conquering all of my traumas like that shit was easy. Caught each of her tears because her buckets were big enough to hold them all. Carried my mother on her back, every single piece without a break in her spine. where she knew she had married him. Wrote effortlessly. I mean, spit some fire-ass poems. She was confident. Confidence higher than this boy used to have no business fucking with, but I found God, and I envied her. Couldn't stand that bitch for doing all that I couldn't. All that I spent my entire life of trying to break free of, she did. All the heartaches and pain she healed from. And I wonder, did she ever find comfort in considering her final breaths, telling her father she loves him? God, tell me how you did it, but couldn't guide me when I needed guidance most. Shit, I still need it. But here you are, swimming in the happiness that I yearn for. So, indeed, I found God, but that can't be a God of me.
My mirror tells me, I see you out there giving your all and receiving nothing at all. When it comes to love, you be forgetting everything about you so you can be there for your partner. Well, fuck that. Because me, the type of love that I want is the one that meets you at your worst and still love you. The one that doesn't want to see you struggle. The one that will go through hells with and for you just because. That's the kind of love that I want. So now please move aside so I can take over, because right now you're hurting the both of us.
Inside me, there is a scream, silent to the world, deadly to me, so intense as to crack open my skull, split me in half, and nobody sees what's really going on inside me. Because no matter how deep my insides revert, meet my outside, and say hi to the world, no one cares enough to breathe, pull me back out, and be happy that I am no longer invisible.
Yeah, God must be a black woman, because that's the only person I know that receives as much disrespect as us. Doing things for self in her name, saying it's what God will, knowing damn well that was her sister Lucy. Lucy probably tried to warn God too. Listen, don't be bending over backwards for folk who wouldn't even bend forward to lend you a hand. But God, being so strong-willed and hard-headed, thought it was her job to save everybody, taking bullets in the chest with no vest, just to turn around and be disrespected by those she tried to protect. God has to be a black woman, because I can't understand why we never say thank you. We never say thank you, God. We never say, how was your day, God? We never say, God, what can I do for you? How can I be your vessel? We always say, God, you didn't answer that prayer. God, do you even know that I'm here? Are you listening? And I remember being young, a young black girl, giving and giving and giving, never even having anything to take because nobody else wanted to give, because they knew that was my job. As a black girl who turned into a black woman, it was always my job to play God. God gotta be a black woman, because I can't see it no other way.
I'm learning not to hold my tongue behind the prison of my teeth. Unclench these pearly bars and let my tongue fold and unfold around itself, a ritual dance to appease truth. Let loose sounds I'm supposed to swallow but spit. A venomous thought to release my unladylike vernacular. 'Cause no lady should ever relinquish her thoughts, her truth. So I spit shit in unladylike vernacular. And I love it. A soul that spits venom from an imprisoned tongue, learning not to hold it behind the prison of my teeth, unclench these pearly bars, and let my tongue fold and unfold around itself, a ritual dance to appease truth. Let loose sounds I'm supposed to swallow, but spit a venomous thought to release my black-like vernacular. I'm reconciling with the fact that if God looks like me and acts like me, then I have to confront the fact that technically God is imperfect.
An imaginary monster, taking shape, fluid like water, holding my family captive, salivating at the thought of new flesh that may ooze with aspirations and vigor, wishing a nigga would make a wish in this household. No, stars belong outside. No, stars are made of fire burning in his stomach, filled with acid and history. It was my babysitter. It sang me lullabies. It was my guardian. It told me the world died. It suggested I do the same. I became an extra in my own movie. I watched it swallow my dreams, leaving me with crumbs I never learned to savor. I envied the person I was in my past life. I buried her, stood above her, falsely victorious, wondering why she still remained so powerful 6 feet under, realizing no sooner than this moment that even when I was Goliath, I was always God. I was always God. So I chose to improvise, to take risks in the final act of Fierce Show, to chase my more to life I know is out there, to fucking live for once, to continue to piss a lot of people off on purpose because I've been taking the piss my whole life and I'm ready to reincarnate right before your eyes. I say, you're fucking imaginary. Nothing is real until I make it. Nothing is so until it is agreed upon. And so long as I disagree, you're a fucking opinion. Fear, you're fucking imaginary. And I adopted you out of excuse. And though I know your remnants will appear on me sometime after, like glitter, a captivating nuisance, I'm gonna live for once and for all. And you're gonna take your rightful place in my show. Because I brought you into this world. And I damn sure will take you out.
I searched for God in
And I love her. As I kept singing these beautiful words, my subconscious self awake. Pressing down her teeth is the hardest thing to do. Suicidal thoughts are becoming more and more convincing. Tears is getting heavier and heavier as life keeps giving her more reasons to do so. Time is slowing down as things constantly moving faster. Is it not time for a psychiatrist? Or is it time to give up yet? Which one is it, she asked? As she's so tempting to becoming just somebody you used to know. Why does it always have to be like this for her? Fighting God. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, but like every other needle, it shall stick you whenever she's ready to be found. And then, something happened. She found God in her. The Almighty God in her. She was God and God was her all along. God was sleeping, dormant inside of her. Even during her most stormy days, killing herself would have meant killing God. Interesting, she thinks. And then, one day she stopped, Bible in her hand, and said, I found God in myself, and I hated her. I hated her fiercely.
Dear friend, you won't ask me what I have considered. Well, the gun, the knife, the rope, the bridge, more and more. Sometimes I sit and think, if I use one of those, if I jump out of a warning car, will someone miss me? Will someone ever think back to the times I might have made them smile? Would it all be worth it? Would my battle with life be worth it?
God spoke to me today and said she's through. She said she walked me through the valley. She said she breathed into me all that her infinite lungs could exhaust.
Used up screams still echo into next week. They loud. Almost made me deaf. I didn't know she needed it that bad. That her cries for help weren't abused to get me in her presence. I've been there before. Been broken.
My words are bruises on my wrists, reminding me that what holds me back isn't even visible to me. I blinked in disbelief.
Always at the crossroads of doing what's best for
doing
me
what's best for
and
me
being mindful of someone's
being
feelings.
mindful of someone else's feelings.
I met God last night. In a dream, I think. And she looked just like me. Yeah, a woman. Skin just as dark brown like the richest soil that could bear the sweetest fruit. Oh, and her lips, full. And from them fell opinion after opinion, African folktale, beauty salon wisdom. She knows herself. Much different than me, but she was so me. Oh, and her nose was wide, like her hips, like my hips, and her big legs and my big legs. Oh, and we danced. God knows the cha-cha slide, y'all, and the electric slide. Oh, and we twerked. I don't know how I'm supposed to tell you that, but we did. We twerked, and it felt like the more I was with her, the more I was sinking into myself, into my power. Oh my God, she was beautiful. I mean, oh my God, you're beautiful. And afterwards, just like all the best sleepovers, when we sink back into the sanctuary we just created, I sat in between her legs while she played in my hair, and we cried.
I never thought I'd see the day. My ceiling propelled into the abyss, aimlessly beginning its journey, sneaking without even saying goodbye. The threat of her breath was the profound gusts of wind. I wanted to know more, but not at my own expense. So, I shuffled in suffering as I do in my waking hours, and I do it so well, choosing to ignore the obligatory nature of the moon. But her heart grew fonder. I gave a grimacing eye and gave into my slumber. In between my existential resignation and grief for the hand I was dealt, I realized my fucking ceiling is gone. It was me, the infinite sky, and the cold wind. It was the end for sure. Like the earth was imploding, I thought, so this is what my fight or flight was made for. I went outside, praying for a memory bank that would exceed all dimensions, for the strength to do all I wished I was strong enough to do here. I prayed for a lot of things that night. Above all, I prayed that, unlike my early 20s, the end wouldn't hurt. And as I'm stepping back, I see the most amazingly offensive thing. My fucking ceiling is here in the bushes, and I have to find a way to drag it back with me. And there she was, confirming my suspicions. She had everything I wanted. She was everything I believed I was capable of, if given the chance. Her aura was nearly blinding. All I saw was her soul. I prepared for consequence, looked at her and said, "Khadijah, is that you? Is that me? Are you me? Am I? Look, why was my ceiling the only one that had to be torn off? And then you have the nerve to mock me by using my face?" Before I knew it, she swallowed my voice and said, "Actually, you've been using mine." I could do nothing but observe. What I saw was remarkable. All around me were black women, discovering themselves in the sky, not realizing that we were staring in the faces of God. She purified my voice, looked at me and said, "Speak." All I could do was cry. She understood every word.
Dust, dust gathered, dust united. Dust, dust gathered, dust united. A parent, a child, an uncle, an aunt. A scholar, a peasant, a farmer, a monk. Energy, cells, electricity, water. A creator of a mind that wanders, going astray of the norm, wandering into harm, ungrateful of present gifts, embracing common myths, unaware of what is embodied, less focused and more worry, in favor of destruction, skeptical of interruption, trying to do what's best, attention aside from the test, mankind.